Hello, welcome back. My upload schedule is still garbage. But, bad scheduling aside, it's time to check out the last mod for Elden Ring, Reforged. What the f is a Reforged? Well, think of it like a band-aid being put on the game. Going into the mod, all I knew is that it was sort of a quality of life patch on the game. Little did I know, there was way more than just quality of life patches on the game. But there's no better way to show those changes than to actually play the fucking mod. One cool thing that the mod did is they gave every starting class a talisman depending on what it was going for, which was a pretty cool change. Also, of course, there were new starting classes. I feel like that's a common thing nowadays. I ended up picking the new gladiator class because of the high strength and dex stats, and I gave him a name of the strongest fictional character. Loading in, the only thing of note is that there's a sign that will tell me when something has changed. I'm sure there won't be too many of these. Fight me, foul beast. I will kill you with— oh sh**! Help! The tutorial also changed, like a lot, teaching me the new way to craft pipe bombs, how to sneak around, and deflecting? Listen, I'm all for adding things, but deflecting? This just doesn't feel right in this game. But the most important thing from the tutorial were the fortunes. Think of them as a perk set that will help you based on what build you're going for. And you can find them all over the game, but you can also mix and match them in case you don't like some of the perks from a certain fortune. But overall, the system is really confusing, and even now, after playing through the whole mod, I still don't understand them. And instead of facing the soldier of God himself, we now face a bunch of Crucible Knights, but they put a nice twist on it. Instead of punching them or stabbing them, instead you have to dodge a certain way with them. Each one tells you a different way of dodging, whether that be jumping over a foot stomp or dodging through an attack or just moving the f*** out of the way. And one of the new moves is that you can now duck under certain attacks. I never used this because I couldn't think of like any scenario where you needed to use it, but it's an option now. And for completing the tutorial, you don't really get too much. You can now make the game harder with new difficulties upon doing the tutorial, and that's really it. You get an armor set that boosts roar attacks, but it's not really that helpful. Yeah, some of the roar attacks are some of the strongest in the game, but that's not really the most common build, is to shout at motherfuckers. But with my newly acquired 2012 Honda Accord, it was time to run around the map collecting things. Cue the music. Okay, there is one thing I need to talk about. Every single one of the ruins in the game now needs you to find some circles and give it FP to open the chest room. It's kind of annoying at times, but hey, whatever. It's clear to me that they just wanted us to actually clear the things and not just run through it. Even though that's what 90% of Souls games are like. I went over to the fort nearby to get one half of the Dectex medallion, and after killing the knight, he actually dropped it. So that's interesting. I hope that doesn't become a problem later. I then went and fought Margit, but I'm just gonna let this little clip play out and explain how it went. What? Yo, f*** this game. After that happened, I decided that it was time to go and kill the giant rune and dragon barrel, but instead, I found out something quite funny. You can't leave the bestial sanctum anymore after teleporting. Instead, it tells you, hey, you need 4 death roots. After that news, I decided to get the bell bearing in Liurnia, but on my way there, I found a knight's cavalry without a horse. Which, it's cool to fight one of these guys without the horse. It was actually a lot of fun. I then proceeded to kill a red lobster worker to receive his balls. I then take my new balls and beat 2 women who said they were small. They are average. Ma'am, Man, we forgot the bell bearing. Where's the bell bearing? They deleted them. They're gone. I have to run around the entire map to collect stones now. Why? At least they made it to where when you plus your weapon past, I don't know, let's just say smithing stone 1s, you can then buy them from Hugh. But you still have to get them by running around the map. It may only be 9 smithing stones now, but it is still annoying and tedious to do. Yeah, you lower the amount you need to plus a weapon up for regular smithing stones, but they increased how many you need for somber. You now need 3 of each to plus a somber weapon one time. Once. And they changed the locations of somber stones. So where you would usually get 1 somber stone is now somewhere else. Thank you so much, mod creators. This was a great idea and definitely a quality of life improvement that didn't have me doing a swanton off the Empire State Building. With a rage boost acquired after running around the entire map, I was able to beat Margit and assert my dominance on him.
Do you honestly think you're fucking funny?
I then used the same rage boost to absolutely destroy Godric, and instead of talking about him, because, I mean, they said they changed him, but I didn't notice a single thing different about him, I'm just going to point out that the greatsword, you know, the big old slab of metal that everybody runs in every strength build, they changed the light attacks to actually be the light attacks from Dark Souls 3's Colossal Greatswords. A small little thing that I actually quite enjoy. I went back to the round table and found out that there is a way to upgrade Ashes of War now. Using a Lost Ash on a skill that you have, you can now get that Ash of War, but upgrade it, and it can be a certain rarity, which is indicated by these stars that are on the Ash of War. And basically, it's,
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
I went to nab the keys to Hogwarts' front door and found a sign that warns me whenever a change had happened. You know, my reading skill could really use some upgrades, but I think it's telling me to sneak up. You know, I may not be able to read or count past 4, but god damn it, I can play video games. Somebody called a vet because I'm about to put this dog down. Night night, Sith 2.0, you could never be as good as the original. Now it's time for his owner, who keeps rejecting me. Remember kids, the worst you can say is eat my magic, you creep. Alright, time to try my luck with another woman. She said no, so I had to show her my no refund policy. 3rd time's the charm, right? Oh god. I can work with this. Love life aside, I was really hoping they had given the Dragonkin soldiers something cool, because Miyazaki should be ashamed of himself for making a boss this cool and giving them this. What the f kind of rations is this?
Shame him! Shame! Shame him! Shame!
After a few attempts, I finally was able to defeat him and receive my reward. Oh, okay, nothing new. There's still 2 more. The Dragonkin soldier in Nokron now had a 2nd phase, so it was looking promising. Alright, baby, tell me what I get. You gotta be kidding me. Ah, yes. Why not take the worst incantation in the game and give it a blue tint? Perfection. Alright, well, there's no way they would have up the weapon's Ash of War. Okay, I can work with that. And with my new boomstick, I send Renala to the Shadow Realm for rejecting me. Also, say it with me, kids. Not even close, baby. This is also when I found out about the new binding rune system, where now it's like if EA made the game, and you need to buy the buffs from the Great Runes. With a free currency, but it's still kind of an EA move. I also went through Celia to get to Dragon Barrel to kill the giant rune. You know, I should have expected it at this point. Alright, well, whatever. I'll just head up here and get Radahn Source Seal and the other half of the Dectus Medallion. Ooh, a sign. I fucking hate it here. Alright, fine. I'll go to this other fort, kill this other knight, and there we go. I don't even want to talk about this guy. I hate this boss. Just skip it. And there we go. My biggest rival defeated. In a shocking turn of events, the next fight is the Grafted Scion. And I didn't slip this time. I also just want to showcase, man, you know, it's pretty cool that this weapon here, the, I forget what it's called, the Dragon's Claw, now has an actual Ash of War. I wish something else actually got an Ash of War. Now, the whole reason I went back here is because the statue at the start of the game will now sell you everything. Everything in the game you can now purchase with a new currency called Starlight Tokens. You get them from remembrances, but they also give you like 10 when you first go back, so, you know, it's an interesting concept, but also very difficult to get. Like, you at most can probably buy one weapon and maybe an armor piece and maybe an incantation or spell, and that's it. You get like one, maybe two things out of it. I decided to get one of the new weapons, the Red Wolf's Fang, because a funny fact about myself and Elden Ring, and every Souls game actually, I've never used the magic build. Not once have I dedicated an entire build to magic. And I decided that with this weapon, that would change. Because it only scales with intelligence. But before I switch over to that build, it's Radahn Festival time. Oh god, not again. I think they're threatening me? I don't know. Well, it can't be that bad, it's just a bridge. What harm could it do? I pooped my pants. After getting through the very confusing Subway Surfers layout of the new Red Main Castle, it was time to fight. Oh, they're gonna make me fight the Crucible Knight? Oh, come on, I don't want to fight. Oh, hello there. You look like a good cat. Ow. Okay, so time to talk about this guy. I had a very love-hate relationship with this guy. On one hand, he was very fun to fight. On the other hand, he was batshit crazy and was throwing my ass around like a ragdoll. This attack, right here, took me so long to figure out. I tried so many different ways to dodge it, and by the time I figured it out, I realized I just fucking sucked. And this attack, right here, in phase 1, just dodge to the right. In phase 2, nope. Here's that same attack again, so dodge to the right. Wrong! You were supposed to now dodge to the left. Fun times. But luckily I was able to get him after way too many attempts that I don't want to talk about. And finally, it's Radahn Festival time. There's really nothing to talk about when it comes to Radahn, so we're just gonna move on. I went through Radahn's special hole and beat myself to death, a common theme when I go to sleep. With the larval tier I beat out of my body, I was able to switch builds to the new weapon. I also spent hours collecting spells that I would use. After wasting a few hours of my life collecting spells in a game that tortures me, it was time to fight the Piss Man. This fight also brought to light one of my least favorite changes in this mod, and that is adding hitboxes to bosses' attack animations. As you just saw, he was doing an animation that was not an attack, but it killed me. And this happened so many times in this fight because they added so many hitboxes to animations of an attack and not just having the hitboxes be on the attack. It made Godfrey go from a fun, very challenging fight to now I'm getting hit for absolutely no reason because they added a hitbox to him. So by the time that I did kill him, I wasn't even happy. Usually I enjoy this fight because Godfrey's such a fun fight, but I felt nothing. Hitboxes aside, we now have unlocked the minor fortunes. Basically, there are minor benefits to the fortunes, and now you can mix the main perks of one fortune with the minor perks of another fortune. Next was Morgott, who was kicking my ass, so I decided to go do something else. That something else was Ronnie's questline, so give me a moment or two.
One eternity later.
Holy shit, I'm finally done. Holy God. Remember kids, if you see a furry in the street, stab them. I went back to Morgott with stronger weapons and spells. Oh, and the British dog is now mine. Speaking of the British dog, summons have been reworked to where you can't use them to basically kill the boss for you, but they aren't so useless to where you shouldn't even use them. They can still proc status effects, but don't do a lot of damage, but on the bright side, they don't take that much damage. But if you have the FP for it, you can basically inject them with steroids to where they will do more damage, but they will also take more damage. And another thing to kind of balance them is that if they're not in their void rage state, they won't hold aggro for shit. Not once did they ever hold aggro for me, so it's a kind of good way to balance it, but also kind of causes some frustrations if you really need that aggro to go away, and it just isn't. But luckily, I was able to finish him off rather quickly. That's a lie, it took me way too many attempts. I suck at this boss, and I once again asserted my dominance over him.
And you annoy people and put them on YouTube because you're a cunt.
Alright, fire giant time. There's no way this could possibly go wrong.
Oh no!
Oh, okay. Luckily on my second attempt, he didn't pull out his insta-win button. Alright, Godskin duo time. Time to put them to sleep with Amy Schumer comedy I put in a bottle. Take this, idiots! Uh-oh, it's not working. It's not working. It didn't work. Maybe it's him too. Oh no. Good news. You only technically have to kill them once, but they have to die in between 20 seconds of each other. And even with that help, it took me so many attempts, so many cold ones, to where God himself came down from the heavens and told me, "Hey, dumbass, stay away from them and use the spells you were collecting." Oh my god, it worked. Thank you, God. I went down to the Lake of Wrath to kill the last Dragonkin soldier to get the Dragon Scale Blade. And sadly, they did not change the Ash of War again. Hi, editing me here. If you're wondering why I say they didn't change the Ash of War, the one on the Halberg, when it did that massive explosion, that's only in water. So yeah, they did nothing. Do I really need to ask that much to get something cool for them? Now, sadly, because I'm an idiot, I forgot to record me killing Malekith and Godfrey, but luckily, the mod lets you revive bosses. So that's why you'll be seeing me fight Malekith with Godfrey's axe. First phase Malekith didn't have anything new, and second phase he did have one new attack, and it also seemed like he had more HP as well, which made second phase last a lot longer, so if you enjoy second phase, you get to fight him longer. There's not much to say about first phase Godfrey that I didn't mention from before, and second phase didn't feel any different. So my only gripes with this fight is what I mentioned about first phase getting changed with the hitboxes on the axe. For Radahn and the Elden Beast, nothing changed, so I'm not really going to go over them. They're basically just the same. Radahn had one more new move, and it was kind of annoying, but that was really it for new stuff. I'm also just going to skip Moog, because I don't believe any of you want to hear me complain about him for 20 minutes, because I could definitely do that. I went over and bullied the Knight of Solitude. This is literally all I did. Alright, moment of truth. Did they remove Scadu Tree fragments? This is the most important thing to me. If those things are gone, that's all I care about.
No! 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 Fuck! Shit!
Well, fun fact, while I was going around the map, I noticed the spirit spring that let you skip Raylana is just gone. I'm realizing a lot of the quality of life changes fucking Anyways, it's time to fight Raylana now. I don't know exactly what changed. Actually, wait, hold on, let me check the patch notes. Oh, she's a little less aggressive in second phase. Whoop-de-f***ing-do. Alright. There's only one thing I can do right now. And that's to not be sober. Remember, kids, if you're ever drunk, go find the nearest woman and beat the shit out of her. I'm getting demonetized. I'm gonna skip over Mesmer and Romina because nothing about them really changed, so I'm not gonna go in depth on their fights. I did have to go kill the dancing lion to get access to the last area of the DLC, but I do have to talk about Radahn because after many hours they finally made another good quality of life change. His sword hitboxes are no longer the size of South America. And the same goes to the second phase beams of light after he swings those swords, which made it so much easier to dodge his attacks in second phase, because first phase, let's all be honest, it's pretty much picture perfect in all forms. Second phase is when the difficulty really ramps up and becomes levels of bullshittery. And because of those changes, he was so much easier to defeat. But with that, it is finally the end of the Reforged mod. So, what did I think about it? Well, if I'm being 100% honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the mod. There were a lot of changes I didn't mention that I thought were pretty dumb. Like how you can't ride Torrent through camps, and how it can also take poison and rot damage if you're walking through a swamp. And you can't avoid it. A lot of the changes felt like when your math teacher gave you the credit of getting the right answer, but because you didn't use the method that they wanted you to, they took your grade down. Whether it's removing the bell bearings, or questionable hitboxes. I could go on, and it honestly feels like they were more focused on quality of life changes than they were of actually adding cool stuff. And obviously, it's a lot better than a certain other dumpster fire I've talked about. But to answer the question of, is it any good?
No.